Jamal Khashoggi was last seen entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul at around 1 p.m. on Tuesday. He wanted to sign off on some paperwork in order to marry his Turkish fiancée, who waited outside the building. Now, she told Al Jazeera that an official said to her at the end of the day that he wasn't in the building anymore. And then on Friday, Turkey's foreign ministry summoned Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Ankara over the matter. And later on that same day, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said Saudi authorities would allow Turkey to search the consulate. Saudi Arabia invited a group of journalists into the Istanbul mission on Saturday in an effort to show that Khashoggi was not on the premises. Jamal Elshayyal is our correspondent. He's following this story for us. He's joining us live now from Istanbul. So how confident, then, are the Turkish authorities, Jamal, that Khashoggi has indeed been murdered on the premises of the Saudi consulate in Istanbul?
Well, pretty much certain, according to the sources that have spoken to Al Jazeera, Martin. The police officials here, as well as other security apparatuses, are indeed looking at this as a murder investigation. They look to the fact that these 15 Saudi nationals, amongst them officials, entered and fled essentially the country that quickly. The fact that Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, in that interview that, as you mentioned, was published on Friday, but was actually given on Wednesday, where he said there was nothing to hide inside the consulate in terms of the holding or the kidnapping or the detention of Jamal Khashoggi, and therefore he had obviously disappeared. As far as they're concerned, they have evidence of him entering. There is zero evidence of him exiting, and therefore people don't just disappear into thin air, as one official told me. Obviously, how he was killed and what further clear-cut evidence in terms of a body and other things that we're waiting to hear from the Turks, we still haven't seen that. They did say on Saturday that within 48 hours they will release all the evidence and video footage of this entire operation that they have in order to prove unequivocally what they have reached to as a conclusion. Like I say, in absence of that body, obviously we will wait and see. But the understanding, not just here in Turkey, but also internationally, is that unfortunately this journalist has been killed by the Saudis.
And how big an impact is this? Because, I mean, this is not an ordinary happening, is it? In terms of relations between the two countries, which are already strained, I think we can say, given that they're on opposite sides of the Gulf crisis, and Saudi Arabia will not be at all happy with the fact that Ankara is quite close with Tehran. What sort of impact is this likely to have on those strained relations?
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, strains in international relations and bilateral relations that occur as a result of, different points of views in terms of developments around the region are things that countries can deal with whilst maintaining diplomatic representation in each country. It is when there is an affront on your sovereignty or when there is some sort of attack that makes it difficult for that diplomatic representation to continue. And that's what many people or observers are anticipating, that because if it does turn out unequivocally to be the case that Saudi Arabia conducted a murder inside Turkey, then therefore the Turks will have to revise and review their diplomatic representation in Saudi Arabia and Saudi's diplomatic representation here. It does seem, and what I do understand speaking to some officials over the past few days, Martin, is that the Turks did really exhaust all diplomatic avenues with the Saudis to try and find a way out of this. That's why we haven't heard from senior Turkish government officials on camera. That's why the Turks had remained tight-lipped for the first few days without releasing the information that they had or confirming the whereabouts or indeed the well-being of Jamal Khashoggi, because they were, as far as one source told me, trying to find a diplomatic way out of this to avert what would be some sort of a fallout. But it seems that there was a lack of reciprocity in terms of goodwill being represented were expressed by the Saudis, and therefore the Turks have had their hand forced in terms of trying to expose what took place. And what we understand is that will include CCTV footage of these 15 nationals entering and exiting the country, the vehicles that were used to enter and exit the Istanbul consulates, as well as other evidence of this crime.
For now, Jamal, thank you very much indeed. Jamal Elshayyal will keep us right up to date with developments out of Istanbul today.